Well, hey everyone, how's it going? Sean here with another GP vlog video. And yeah, in this video, we're going to be going over a lot of things. So if you don't like talking, you don't like long videos, you don't like listening to somebody drone on, then this is the point where you stop and you say, I'm going to go find something else to watch. Because this is going to be a long video about things that are going on with my life, the car, and all that other stuff. We're going to kind of touch everything and then to give you a good idea of how we're moving forward. The good news is there's good news. So there's also some bad news in there, but we'll go ahead and get everything all kind of bunched up, and then you guys can continue to follow this channel, which I definitely appreciate all of you. I'm sorry that lately I haven't been really paying attention to it too much. It's just that, well, in this video I'm going to be explaining all that. So, for those of you who don't know, I actually own my own business, and I work with a company called PowerJack, based out of China. They make DC to AC inverters as well as some other things, but I am quite literally the North American warranty service support center, unofficial. Um, my company, Genetry Solar, has an agreement or a contract with PowerJack to basically be an authorized service center. I'm literally the only one in the States. And we have a really good relationship. We have helped each other out immensely. We have very strong ties together. So, I have a lot of support from PowerJack out of China, despite everything that's going on between China and the United States with the trade wars and all the Hong Kong stuff and everything else that's going on right now. Um, you know, PowerJack is a company, Genetry Solar. We've had a very good, solid relationship despite all that. We keep the politics out of it. You can have your opinions on how you feel about everything and all that other stuff. That's fine. But honestly, my relationship with Jack, the owner, his staff, all the people who work for him, his suppliers, and all this other stuff, we have a very good relationship that has not changed one bit. It's obviously changed the way that we do business together as far as costs and things like that. But, anyways, so I have been full steam ahead with this venture. That is building up a business, a reputable, reliable business. Step by step, I have been expanding, improving, moving, doing all sorts of stuff to build a business up in the renewable energy field. And I want to expand beyond just inverters. I want to be able to go into solar panels, maybe not necessarily be a sales rep for them or anything else like that, but maybe a reseller, and charge controllers, things like that. I mean, I've dabbled a little bit with Make Sky Blue and whatever. But anyways, the point is that I am full steam ahead, expanding my business, basically working out of my house, and my priority has been that. You've got family on the top, business. My other job that I work, well, actually, that's pretty low. But anyway, um, so my priorities have been, moving around a little bit. The point is that I'm building a business for not only the future of renewable energy, but also the future of my life. You don't go into being a small business owner for charity. You don't go into being a small business owner just for fun. You go into being a small business owner to sustain yourself, to improve your life, to be able to purchase things you couldn't otherwise purchase, to be able to do things, go on vacations, things like that. Things that you wouldn't have the resources to do, you can do. And trust me when I say there is no greater feeling in the world. After working in retail for 20 years, there's no greater feeling in the world than being your own boss. And I encourage all of you out there, if you're stuck at a dead end job, if you're living a monotonous, just the same old all the time, and you feel like you're trapped, you feel like you're never going anywhere, that you're always going to be destined to just be this and that's all you're going to go, I encourage you to find something that you enjoy and start your own business. It's not easy, but the work pays for itself. I am still building this business. There are days when I'm stressed. There's days when I'm overwhelmed. There's days when I just want to pull my hair out, when I want to scream, because it seems like sometimes when I get ahead, then I take 3 steps back. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that that's bad stress. It's good stress, but there's pros and cons to owning your own business. I am a sole proprietor, limited liability corporation. I am in charge of all aspects of the company. So all of my costs, my taxes, all that other stuff, I do it all on my own. That's it. There's a lot of work involved when you own a business that's expanding. It's this is something that is big. I mean, it really is. I am really moving in that direction. Despite sales being down, I'm expanding my own business. PowerJack sales are down. I'm expanding my own business. So I'm busy. I'm extremely busy. And I wake up in the morning and I have a list that would take me 2 years to complete. And I'm not kidding. And I have to balance that with personal life as well. I can't focus exclusively on business and that's it. It's not like I'm single and I'm 18 years old and I can literally spend 24/7 working on this, spending just enough time to get a couple hours sleep, eat, shower, and that's it. And I can just, whatever. I mean, I'm 37 years old. I'm getting married here in October. Danielle, she has her own kids to integrate into this family and things like that. So we've got a lot of stuff going on right now. We just do. And so that kind of ties into the Gray Grand Prix. I know everyone out there wants me to get this Grand Prix done, fixed, on the road, back to the drive along videos, back to the how-to videos and all that stuff. I know it. I know it. It's not like I'm ignoring it. It's not like I'm saying screw you guys. It's not like none of that stuff. That's not the case. It's literally priorities are priorities. I have to be able to continue to build a business up while I'm, setting aside time for family, while I'm planning a wedding. There's all sorts of stuff, especially around the holidays. That's even more crazy. So it's been difficult. It's been extremely difficult. When I bought the Gray Grand Prix, I had all intentions of spending a week on it and then getting it out of the garage and working on the Black Grand Prix, which has been called the Rocket. That was a name that Danielle, my fiance, gave the car, so now I call the gray one the Gray Rocket. But anyway, so I was all hum-ho about getting all this done, and things changed. They changed because they changed in a good way. Maybe you won't see it that way, but they changed in a good way. You've got family issues aside and whatever, or some things that are going on with family. But they changed in a good way because our situation for Danielle and myself, and if you follow my other channel, you may kind of understand what I'm talking about. But our situation is, I own a house. It's a mobile home. Yes, I have a garage. I'm one of the few who actually is lucky enough to have a house that's 5 bedrooms. It's a mobile home with 5 bedrooms. Granted, I built 2 of those bedrooms. 5-bedroom house, 2 full-size bathrooms. It's like 1,650 square feet. It's a huge house. Plus, I have this full 2-car garage here. Okay, I'm fortunate. I'm very lucky. I got really lucky when I got this house. The stigma is, well, it's trailer park trash or whatever. But trust me when I say we live in more of a, I wouldn't say upscale, but we live in kind of a higher end area. So while it might be trailer park to you, it's actually mobile home to us. And that's not just because we're in denial. The homes here, every single time somebody moves out, they replace the house with something brand new. And I'm not kidding. We just had like 6 new homes put in. And they don't just do it because they have to. They try to keep the homes as new as possible, looking as new as possible. And this mobile home park was, I think, built in 1990 or 1989. So the houses here aren't even any older than, let's say, 20, 25 years old anyways. Or would that be 30 years old? Damn, I'm getting old. But anyways, so it's not that old. I lived when I was a teenager, actually from age 7 to about age 15, we lived in a trailer park, and it really was a trailer park. My dad was in law enforcement, hated it, so he quit that, and income levels went down. My mom had to go to work and all this other stuff. So we had to cut everything basically. We moved out of our house, we moved into a trailer. It was just a single wide trailer. It was terrible. It was like the lowest of the area that we were in. It was horrible. Everything was run down. Nothing was maintained. There were cars that were broke down on the sidewalk. They didn't care. I mean, it was just terrible. Okay, it was as bad as it could get. Almost as bad as it could get, I guess. It could always get worse. But so from there, I always wanted to stay away from mobile homes, mobile home parks. I wanted to stay away because I had built up that stigma inside myself, living in that, actually living with it every single day. I had actually experienced what it was to live in what you would call the dumps. I really did experience that, and I know some people out there have it worse. I'm not trying to say I've got it worse than you or anyone else. I know there's worse out there. I know that, okay? But I have lived bad. I have lived in poverty. I have struggled with my parents and things like that. It's been tough. So, I stayed away from mobile homes. I would rather live in an apartment. I was really serious about it until we found this place, like 4 or 5 years ago. Not this particular house that I'm in now, but this park. And we just drove through and we said, this is actually really nice. I mean, the homes are well maintained. You don't see any broken down cars. You don't see any of that crap. And so it was enlightening to know that there's actually good mobile home parks out there. So anyway, I have a really nice house, but it's still a mobile home, no matter what. It doesn't matter how much you improve, replace the roof with a metal roof, add bedrooms, add a garage, whatever. It's still a mobile home. The value decreases. Now, my house in particular, because I have the only 5-bedroom house in the entire park, as well as I'm one of only, I think, 6 that actually have a garage. There's a couple, actually, my mom actually owns a house here as well. She has a 1-car garage. It's just this tiny little thing. But I am one of only 6 that actually has a 2-car full-size, fully electric, fully featured, fully insulated garage, and it's nice. It's really nice. That is, bringing the value up. So if I went to sell, it would just like that. I mean, when I went to go buy this house, it wasn't even on the market. It was when I was going through my divorce. That was just at the start of my divorce, and April was moving out of the house we were leasing. We were actually leasing in this place, and this place offered lease credits. So basically, the more you leased, they would give you a down payment basically if you chose to either buy the house you were leasing, buy another house in the park, whatever. So I had like $10,000 in lease credits, and I decided that instead of trying to stay here and pay for an $80,000 house, because it was only 2 years old when we moved out, because it was brand new when we moved in, I decided that I was going to try to get a house that was going to be cheaper. I have the $10,000 and whatever. And so with that, I went down to the office. I explained to them what was going on with the divorce, what was happening, and I said, I need a house. I need a house. I don't want to stay in the house I'm at. I don't want to have to worry about, $1,500 a month payments, because the house was valued at like $85,000 or $90,000, something like that. And you got to factor in lot rent in there as well. So it wasn't just a mortgage. It was also the lot rent in there as well. So I wanted something cheaper. And the people who previously owned this place or lived here, whatever, they trashed it. And the park was debating on whether or not to actually drag it out of here and replace it with something new, or fix it up enough to where it would actually be inhabitable again. And they decided that because this big garage was here, they weren't going to try to haul the house out, because they would have to disassemble the garage, because the garage blocks most of the, well, not most, but it blocks a good portion of the house. It would be very difficult, and they were explaining it to me, it'd be very difficult for them to actually get the house out without taking down the garage. So they just decided it cost them more money to disassemble everything and pull the house out than it would be to just leave it and fix up what the previous owners destroyed. I mean, it was terrible. I wish I could have kept the pictures that they had taken, because it was just terrible. I mean, there was marker all over the walls. I mean, they punched holes in the walls. It was atrocious, this place. And when I was first looking at it, I said, "Oh my God, what am I getting myself into?" And she said, "Don't worry about it. We are putting some money. We're putting about 15 grand into this place, and we're going to fix it up. So don't worry about it. It's going to get all new carpets, all new floors, all new walls, all that other stuff." So I said, "Okay, fine." And they put a whole new kitchen in it. They put a new laundry room in it. They did actually a lot of stuff. Not as much as I would have liked, but so anyway, uh, I was literally the first one, and it must, you could call it fate or destiny or some kind of religious intervention or something else like that. But I was literally, that day that they had decided that they were going to keep it, and eventually they were going to put it on the market, was the day that I was down there in the office. And she said, she explained to me, "I've got this house, it needs some work. It's going to be at least 3 months before you'll be able to move in, but I will put your name down first. We'll get all the paperwork squared away. We'll get your credit all squared away. We'll do all that stuff. And if, you pass all that stuff, the house is yours." And so they still put a for sale sign at the front window. If you drive through the park, you'll notice there's for sale signs I'd probably say about maybe 25, 30 homes in here. I think there's 250 homes in this park, maybe. Maybe it's not that many. But anyway, um, I ended up, I was first in line. And when it was move-inable, which means they were actually done with it, she actually showed me the list. There was 26 people on this list who were on the waiting list for this particular house. For this one, if it fell through with me, there was 26 other people in line waiting for this. And this isn't just, "Oh, I'm interested." This was literally, they'd done all their paperwork. They had got everything all squared away, and in case I had backed out, they were next in line to be able to get it. So for that, that allows me to actually be able to know that when I actually go to sell this house, it's gone. And I owe much less than it's actually worth. I got a good deal on this house. I really did, for what it has. Like I said, 5 bedrooms, full size garage, two-car garage, all that other stuff. So I got really lucky. I really did. Plus, it has a almost a 5-car wide driveway, which is really rare in this place. Most of them are 2-car wide. I've got a 5-car wide driveway. So 2 cars in the garage, I could get 7 or 8 cars in the front of the house if I really wanted to. So, and I got a gas fireplace, and it's really cool. So I'm very, very fortunate that I have what I have. So, but how this relates to where I'm going now is that Danielle, who I'm marrying, she also has a house, but she has a lot more equity in her house. And we've been going back and forth as far as how we're going to combine families and things like that. This is a discussion that two families, if you're just a single person, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Unless you have a whole house and you're single and all this other stuff. But we got 2 families, we're coming together. So it's normal to try to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? Who's going to sell whose house? Who's going to move in with who? Are we going to do a third house? Are we going to, whatever. So this discussion is a normal discussion that came up. And we eventually decided that if we wanted to be able to get what we wanted, and that is property, not just an acre or two, we're talking 40 acres minimum, as well as building a house from scratch onto said property, we were going to have to use her house as the equity. So because she has a lot more equity in her house than I do, it was better for us to get her house fixed up, her moved out, her house on the market, sell that house, sit on the cash, use that for a down payment for the land and for the house. So that's what we're doing. So that made me kind of go into overdrive now, because I am literally adopting more people into this house that wasn't built for that. Even though I technically have the rooms for it now, I've got 5 bedrooms. It wasn't designed for that. So it's no matter what, I don't have a basement, and it's not 2 stories. Um, so it's going to be more cramped here, but it's worth it in the end because let's say that we spend a year or year and a half here while we're building a house. It's worth it. It's well worth it. So that's what changed. That's what happened. That's what's going on. That's what we're doing. And so all of this kind of came together after I had gotten Rocket, after I'd gotten the gray Rocket. All that kind of changed. So my priorities changed. Now I'm trying to finish up. I've got the 5 bedrooms built, but it's just a matter of finishing them, as well as finishing the master bathroom. So I have to focus on that. I have to get the house finished before they move in this summer. That's what we're looking at, is a summer timeline. So I only got like 6 months. And so we have that to take care of. We have her house that we're also working on to finish up. I've got the business that I'm running. I've got family that I'm taking care of. So I just don't have time for anything. Believe me when I say it's not just me working one job 80 hours a week like a doctor or something like that. That's why I don't have time. I've got so many different projects all at once. I have to perform well for PowerJack. I have to be able to continue to be a service. I mean, here it is Saturday, so my phone isn't ringing because my 800 number goes to voicemail automatically outside of business hours. I had to set up business hours because I was getting calls at 1 in the morning from people halfway across the world, and I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't keep doing that, so that's why I have my own 800 number. Well, it's an 833 number. I have my own 833 number, which people can text me and whatever, but I don't know about any of it unless I actually open the app and look, or if it's within business hours, then it'll actually alert me. So I have to be able to balance that and take care of that. Now, at the same time, the videos that I want to do for the Grand Prix, I want to do that, how to get the motor out of your car step by step. I want to do that. I've done it 3 times. I know what I'm doing. And while there is definitely a line right down the middle as far as do it the way GM says, which is drop the cradle, or do it like I do, and that is lift it out the top, there is for sure a line that you could cut with a knife as far as how polarizing it is for people. I've had people who are very strong against lifting the motor and saying, just do it the way General Motors says. And then I've got other people who are very strong, like, yeah, but it's easier if you do it like this, lifting it out the top. So I'm going to be lifting the motor out the top like I did before. I will do a step-by-step on how to do that because I have a fresh car that's never had the motor out. I can do that. The whole reason why this was a problem to begin with is because a lot of the footage that I had didn't turn out right. The sound didn't turn out right. I messed up some steps. I did some things that I forgot to record, or the camera wasn't on, and I would have something apart and then realize it later on. It was just a mess because I was in such a hurry and so focused on getting everything on camera that I didn't even bother looking at something as basic as making sure the camera was recording, because I was trying to be all professional and all instruction-like and things like that. And I ended up losing probably, I would say, about 20 to 30% of any usable footage. Even if the camera was recording, it might have been focusing on some bolt or something up where else where I'm, about a foot away because I didn't know where the camera exactly was looking at. So I'm way out of focus. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. It did not look good at all. So I thought, you know what, maybe if I can find some used car that's never had its motor out that I can replace, rebuild, whatever, then that would be a great thing to do. And I got a really, really good deal on this gray Grand Prix. So I want to be able to literally take the motor out, camera, step by step. I know how to do it now. I know every step that I have to do. I know all the precautions and cautionaries and stuff like that. I've done it 3 times. So I know what I'm doing, and I can easily do this over a weekend. I can pull the motor out of the car over a weekend. 2 days out. I can, unless there's any complications with bolts and things like that that won't come out. But those are things that I would spray down bolts with, PB Blast or something else like that to be prepared, because I know which ones broke and I know which ones didn't come out. Those axle bolts were really a pain in the ass. So there's going to be some times when I'm going to be off camera working on something until it comes out. You'll still get a step by step, but I'll have the warnings in there as far as, hey, this axle nut is probably not going to come out for you easily. So spray it down for 3 or 4 days before you take on this project. Knock on it with a hammer and a piece of wood with your socket and all this other stuff. I mean, I'm going to do that stuff to try to help guide you. But I also have to face the fact that the Grand Prix, more and more, are ending up in the junkyard. That's just the way that they are. More and more people are giving up on them because as they approach 100,000 miles, which most of them are, then the transmissions goes out. Half the people don't want to deal with them. I mean, that's why I got such a good deal on this car, is because it was destined for the junkyard, but it had a good motor in it. So people just give up. They give up. They get a loan for it, and they're just like, screw this. I'm not gonna spend 3 or 4 grand replacing the transmission or rebuilding it. I'm just gonna give up on it. I'm just gonna turn it in, and then they end up in the junkyard. It's sad, but that's the way any car is. It doesn't matter. The Grand Prix in particular, they haven't been made since 2008. So we're going on almost 12 years since the last new one rolled off the assembly line. And so it's unlikely that you're going to find anything that's under 100,000 miles. And if you do, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And it's destined to have those transmission problems. So even if you do get a low, let's say 80,000 mile Grand Prix, you're just buying time until the transmission goes out, things like that. So it's I had a huge following when I was doing all the how-to parts in this car because more people had them. Now more people have them in the junkyard, just the way that it is. There's fewer people out there who care about this car. But that leads me to the next thing. My drive-along videos, even though they weren't the most successful, they did invoke a lot of interest as far as the people who actually watch this channel here. So I ended up buying an Orbitz 360. It's a Kodak camera. You guys know that I have an SP 360, but I mounted it down so that it would have this 360 view. Well, I ended up getting really cheap because the Orbitz has been around for like 2.5, 3 years now. So it's an older camera. The 360 thing kind of died out. It was really big 3-4 years ago, and then it just, people just don't care as much anymore about that. But I figured that it would double as a good dash cam, as well as being able for you guys to feel like you're riding in the passenger seat with me and I can talk to you and things like that. That was the whole goal in the first place with the 360 camera. And I never really did explore it in that area because of the way that it was top down, and it looked cool, but at the same time it didn't really give you that feeling like you were in the car because it was in the dash area. So who sits in the dash? So I wanted to, I got my Fat Gecko and wanted to mount it to the window and kind of have an arm that comes down so that you can see the 360 and feel like you're actually in the passenger seat with me. That's something I'm going to be doing. Another thing on that same topic, I already ordered the camera, so I would say within a week you're going to see videos. It's going to be in my Jeep, okay? It's not going to be in the Grand Prix, but until I get the Grand Prix going, that's the way it's going to be. But another thing that I was talking, or really just thinking about, is swear words and stuff like that in the videos. We all know that in this day and age, YouTube demonetizes or strictly or severely removes or limits your monetization if you have any content that could be deemed offensive or whatever. That's just the way that YouTube has gone. The advertisers are pulling out because they're afraid of offending somebody. I mean, it's Dove soap, if they happen to be advertising in some channel that says fuck or whatever, then somebody out there is going to go to cancel culture and try to get them canceled. I'm boycotting Dove because they, the advertisers don't really have a say in where they go on YouTube. So they just advertise and it's good money for them. But all these people out there who are like trying to protect people, whatever, you're not doing anything. I don't even think swear words are really offensive anymore. Come on. What are we, 6 years old now? Back in the day, swearing was a big deal. Now it's not. I mean, I just don't understand. Uh, Whatever. Kids are they're gonna see all this. No matter how good of a parent you are, unless you keep them locked in a cage, they're gonna be exposed to that stuff at school, on the internet, wherever. It doesn't matter. So you trying to cancel somebody's channel is not protecting the kids at all. It's not doing jack shit. Okay, it's not. And I know I'm not going to convince you of otherwise, but I have decided that I'm not going to change who I am when I'm on the road. Yes, I exaggerate a little bit when it comes to being on video versus actually driving in real life. And I have mellowed out quite a bit since, when I was in my 20s and doing these videos. I have mellowed out quite a bit. I think that just comes with age, and that's normal. But if I see somebody doing something stupid, I'm going to call them on it. And you're going to be able to see it too. You're going to be able to see this stuff in 360. Not just this weird dash view of what's going on, but you're actually going to be able to see, like, all over, because it's got 2 cameras on it, so it can see everything. And so I'm going to make sure that you guys actually see what I'm actually talking about. I'm going to point and say, that asshole right there. Look at that asshole. Look at this asshole here. Can you believe the guy behind me? He's like, this much room between me and him. And you'll be able to see it. You'll actually be able to see it. So you'll be as frustrated as I am with these videos. And that's what I think most people enjoyed, is they there's a lot of dash cam videos out there, especially like in Russia and other countries, where they show all these accidents that happens. But to me, that's not very entertaining, I guess, because all you're watching is this montage of all these accidents that are happening. Yes, they're caught on camera, but there's no personality in the seat. You're just watching the actual accident itself. Whereas you follow my videos and somebody T-bones me, you'll be able to see everything that's going on before and all that other stuff, and actually have some sort of stake in it, I guess, is how I'm trying to explain it. But anyways, so that's moving forward. That's going to start here next week. The camera should arrive. I think it's supposed to arrive on the 2nd or 3rd of December. And so I'm going to be doing those videos more. And eventually, yes, I will get to the Grand Prix. I'm hoping January I can spend, a week or 2 working on it. But again, I work 2 jobs too. I still have my part-time job, my other job, which I've been working at for 20 years. And it's very stressful. And I work there 3 days a week. And it's very hard to maintain 2 jobs, a business, trying to, fix up your house, all this stuff. So that's what I'm saying, is that I've been busy, okay? I've just been super busy. I haven't had time to sit down and relax, none of that stuff. But I know that it's going to pay off. I know it. I know that eventually this is all going to pay off. You guys are going to get some great content. You guys are going to get some great videos. And I appreciate all the support that you've given me over the years. I mean, some of you have been there since the very beginning, and I appreciate all of you. And I'm sorry that it's been like this big dry zone of content. But we'll get back there. We will. And it's just that timing, it's just that timing. So, anyway, be looking forward to that. Right now, I'm trying to get the garage cleaned out more so that I'm actually going to be building a big rack right here. A huge rack along the wall. We're going to go get the wood today so that I can store all the inverters that I have actually repaired. And that are ready to be shipped out. I have to make efficient use of my garage as much as possible. This is also going to get a rack, this entire side of the garage here. And then I'm going to have the car right in the middle. I have to make sure that I have enough room here in the middle so that I can still be able to access the inverters on both sides and be able to work on the car at the same time. So, by the way, if any of you are interested out there, I can't pay you money. I mean, I'm not going to pay you. But if you're interested in giving me a hand with this whole project, with me pulling everything apart, all this other stuff, helping me with camera angles and things like that, if you guys are interested, if you seriously are interested, this is not just stop by for 30 minutes and get on video. This would be a day-long project. If we planned it, it would be a day-long project, literally from the first turn of the first bolt, nut, whatever, to the engine literally being out of the car. If you guys want to help, if anyone's interested, you're in the Lansing area, Lansing, Michigan area, and you want to help out for a day or 2, we can get pizza, we can hang out, those kind of stuff. And, I'm going to heat the garage so it'll be nice and warm here. If you want to help out, great. just let me know. It'll be a good time. It'll be some fun. Again, no money involved. I'm not gonna offer somebody money or do any of that. If you want to come out, hang out, help me turn some bolts, help me get my camera angles and all this other stuff, and watch me drop tools and all this other stuff all over the place like we all do, then just let me know. Just hit me up on the channel. I'm looking at like maybe a Friday or a Saturday. I can't on Sunday because I work my other job, but I'm thinking maybe a Saturday, just spend the day just ripping apart as much as we possibly can, possibly getting the whole thing out. I have to go get an engine stand yet so that I can get it on the engine. And by the way, speaking of which, I don't think I'm even going to ask anybody. I'm thinking maybe one of the body, the gray body, which is in good shape. Um, I'm probably just gonna give it away, to be honest. I might maybe $100, maybe $200, something like that. But I know some of you are interested in the body because it's a good body. But if you can come out and you can actually get it on a trailer and get it out of here, then I'm not even gonna worry about it. It'll just be an even Steven kind of deal. Because I will need to obviously get it out of the garage so that I can get the black car in, so that I can get that motor out and get the you know what I mean. Anyway, so I think that's all we have. That's 36 minutes. I think that's all we have for today. I got my phone in airplane mode. I'm sure I'm getting messages. So again, I appreciate all of your support, all of you, no matter who you are. The positive criticism, the negative criticism, I don't care what it is. Comment, subscribe. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers on this channel, which I never even expected. So I appreciate everybody, and I'm gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna keep working on this. We're gonna keep this going, and it's taking longer than I thought. Yes, I know, but life has a way of throwing you curveballs, and you just gotta kind of react to it. But at least I'll start getting some new content out for my drive along videos. It may not be in the Grand Prix, but when the weather warms up again in May, the Grand Prix will be on the road. I'm gonna make sure of it for you guys. I'm gonna make sure, because I know you want to see that Grand Prix on the road, and so do I. I miss driving it. Oh, I'm telling you, I miss driving it. There's a guy in the park who has, it looks like maybe an '06 or '05 Monty SS, and he's got MagnaFlow or something on there, and I hear him drive by every day, and it just, I hear that motor, and it just makes me miss driving my car so much. I want to get a Tesla and all this other stuff, but there's something about the Grand Prix that I'll never ever get rid of that car. Never. Even if they outlaw gasoline, I'll figure out a way to keep it on the road. Anyway, guys, thanks again for your help. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything you guys have done for me for this past, God, must be 10 years now. Yeah, I think it was '08 when I started this channel. It's been a long time. So anyway, thank you again, and I appreciate it. And hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving. And of course, take care.